Hello and welcome to the Neville Richards Premier League. Mark Hayes joined by Matt Bigfoot, the Missile Milne.
Hello, Hazy.
What are you going to be this week?
I'm going to be sedate. I've had a bit of correspondence from a few players who were a bit concerned that we've been a bit soft on players this year. So as I've sort of said to them, we can't fire all our bullets early. So we're just building ourselves up. We've got new players in the competition and we don't want to ostracise them so early. So we'll just ease ourselves in and you never know, something might come today.
We, before we get into the details, we haven't had someone sort of jump up and grab hold individually maybe of the Rickometer.
No, well there's a few after Saturday's golf that were probably priming themselves in that position. The weather was fantastic. Pin positions were a little on the dicey side, and did some people sook up over it?
Oh no, they didn't.
Sooking
Wasn't
up
it the
big
same
time.
for everyone?
It was, but just shows the ineptness of some of those golfers that can't putt.
And without giving away too much before we get into it, is there a fairly familiar name who's put his hand back up for the
There is.
Rickometer?
We had quite a number of golfers actually not reach the 20-point mark on Saturday. So yeah, there might be a couple of things flying around towards those players.
Well, I'm looking forward because the decision on the Rickometer is pending. So look out. Here we go. All right, Matty. The first match, the Hookers and the Pirates. Look, the Pirates have been a fabled sort of franchise, haven't they? They're just starting to flex their muscles.
They have, yeah. They've had the 2 wins now and the 1 loss. But yeah, on Saturday, the Pirates, they smoked the Hookers by 15 points, Hazy. They put them to the sword pretty easily. Hookers had 11 players. The Pirates had 12. For the Hookers, Ian Francis, 36. The Frenchman, Matt Miles, had 31. Brian Barrell, he was a fill-in player, just like Ian Francis. He had 30. Dave Hutton, 30. Matty Davies, 29. And Richie Howes, 28. While the Pirates, Lynn Kirby led them with 39 points.
Well played, Lynn.
She was fantastic in the afternoon. Dave Newman, 33. Sue Gregory, 33. Flea Pollock had 32. Joy Francis, 31. And Darren Heaton, 31. But the AM players for the Pirates, they set the foundation for this match with the players of David Newman, Sue Gregory and Dale Pollock all having counting scores. And then when Lynn come in the afternoon, that cemented the victory. The Hookers disappointing again with 2 fill-in players in their top 3 scores. Frano and Brian Burrell rewarding their players with counting scores for who they paid for. Hooker David Hutton, he was on the precipice of greatness.
Greatness.
Yeah, went through.
What happened today?
Starts on the back 9, went through the first 9, travelling okay, then birdied the first for 4 points.
Nice.
And then Flanders proceeds to bring out the wild turkey shot. So after every birdie, you have to have a wild turkey shot. And then old Dave decided to wipe the second after the shot. So he obviously can't handle his alcohol at
Dave.
9 o'clock in the morning, but you'll get better at that, Dave.
Is there a trick to handling Flanders at that time of the morning?
Oh, mate, he plays with him every week.
You're a brave man, Dave.
Yeah, don't know how he does it, but some of the poor scores from both teams here, and we're going to have a bit of a theme of this of under 25s.
Under 25s.
So
like
for
like a dodgy disco.
Yeah, Johnny Powell. I'm going to mention you anyway. You had 25, so you get a special mention. Dennis Wood, 24, and Manny Golfers, 20, while the Hookers had Ange Royal on 24 and Helen Powell on 19.
What a day for the Powells.
So the Poe household wouldn't have been fun on Saturday night. Not sure how they went on Sunday in the mixed foursomes pairing up, but from Saturday.
Not so good.
Didn't they? No, didn't combine well. So yeah, but no, Pirates were just all over them.
Wow. Oh, that puts the Pirates up into 3rd place, and as we said, they're sort of there's a lot going on. They talk a good game, so when they start getting into good form, it's entertaining. So we'll keep an eye on them for future rounds. Second match, Matty, was a bit of a tight one. It was the Crusaders and the Warriors.
Yes, the crossover Crusaders, 199, defeated the Warriors on 196. So 3-point margin there. Warriors had 11 players. Crusaders had the full complement of 13.
Excellent.
For the Warriors, Robbie Moorcroft top score with 36, Cam O'Keefe 34. Peter DeFazio took his Viagra in the morning. He had 33. He was stiff and ready to go when he turned up at 7:30. Margie Maskell again hit the score.
What's the age limit for for taking Viagra?
Well, Pete's 149, so he must have a special low dosage. But,
Okay.
but yeah, Margie Maskell 32. Josh Kent turned up this week. He had 31. And Jacob Blenner-Hassett had 30. Well done, Jacob. Good to see you greeted the scorer this week.
Nice.
The Crusaders, we had our youngest player in the comp, Xavier Boland. He chimed in with 37, which was fantastic. He was out in the afternoon.
X-Man, what are we going to call him?
We could call him Zave.
Zave.
Right. Bagman Pete O'Neill had 35.
Whoa.
Jeanette Johnson 35. Stan Maskell 32. The Milkman had 32. And Chris James scored 28. Jamesy.
Did I see him during the week have another fine score?
He does. He wants Premier League to be on a Tuesday or a Thursday, not Saturdays, but hence the geld off. But anyway, 3 points between the two. It was a seesawing contest all day. The Warriors morning players put their team in a strong position with Robbie Moorcroft, DeFazio, Margie Maskell, Josh and Blenner-Hassett outpointing their AM counterparts. John Rowe, Cliffy McCorkle, Bobby Gibbs and Craig Finnemore were pretty disappointing. When
Bobby Gibbs?
Yes.
No, I mean, surely not. I mean...
21, but I'll get to him later.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know he ripped you the other week.
I know.
But when Cam O'Keefe come in with his 34, it looked like a Warriors victory. But the Crusaders weren't done there. When Xavier come in, Pete O'Neill, Jeanette, they counted and then they left it to the Milkman.
Big job.
The Iceman. He was the last Crusader on the course.
Yes.
And without his score counting, and we went to the next highest in their team, they were actually on 193 and were 3 points behind the Warriors.
Wow.
So how did the Milkman get it done? Started strong off the 10th, started over on the 10th tee. First 5 holes, he was 12 points.
Nice.
So, sorry, he's 14 points after 6 holes.
That's even better.
Then he hit the triangle. 1, 1, 1.
Whoa.
So 17 points for his front 9.
Yeah.
Then he had 12 points for the first 5.
All right.
So travelling well, 29 after 14 holes. And then the Milkman started to curdle. He was going off. Wiped the 6th.
Oh.
1 point on the 7th. Wiped the 8th. And then came in with 2 points on the 9th hole to amass 32 and give the Crusaders victory.
Wow.
Close, but what could have been for the Warriors? Josh Kent, 2 wipes on his last 9 holes and 12 points on the back 9.
Oh.
Moorcroft, the triangle, 1-1-2. Blenner-Hassett, 3 wipes on holes 10 to 18. Margie Maskell, her last holes were 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
She went 1, 1, 1, 1.
Oh, Mark.
We did have a concerning health issue on the course as well.
Did we?
Yeah, quite concerning with this player. Over the past 8 weeks, he had a heart attack. Lucky to survive. Came back. Played pennant. Miraculous recovery. Went down on Saturday. We have an image of him here. Hit the deck. He had 23 points for the day. Wasn't his heart, apparently it was a sore back.
Oh.
Playing partners were sort of seeming to think it might have been an excuse because he was playing so poor. But then when I went to check his scorecard,
Yeah.
he had 16 points on the first 9 that he played.
Oh, the back can't have been too bad.
With 2 wipes. And then going okay, and then he wiped 12, 13, 14, 15 and 18 for 7 on the back 9. So, pants, Peacock. You need to have a good hard look at yourself. Players under 25 points for these teams. Warriors, Craig Connolly, 24. Ray Linegar, 24. Mr. Peacock, 23. Stephen Bond, a paltry 16.
Oh, Steve.
And what makes it worse is there was actually someone's worse score than him for the day.
Surely not.
We'll get to that later. While the Crusaders, Johnny Rowe, 25. I said I wasn't going to mention any 25s. It was an under 25 score, but bad luck, Rowie, 25 for you. You were an all-port player last year. You're better than that.
Yeah.
Cliffy McCorkle, 24. Dan Hopgood's struggling a bit. 22 for him.
Yeah, that's really unusual for Hoppy.
And then Bobby Gibbs and Jan Cogger on 21.
Bobby Gibbs. 21.
Rates himself as a player too, pennant player, and
Talks it up.
talks it up, and he's just putting in putrid performances at the moment.
Well, there's some staggering scores there, especially from Pants. What a collapse that was.
Big time, and as you can see by that photo, it was a collapse. But yeah, good win for the Crusaders though. That keeps them undefeated and sort of sitting second on the ladder.
Nice. That's excellent. Now, another strong powerhouse team so far this year, again, appears to be the Bullies, and they just ran riot over the Goblins.
Bullies 192 defeated the Goblins 174.
Wow.
Both teams had 13 players. For the Goblins, top scorers were Barry Benson and Maxwell Edmondson on 32, Ian Burrell and Doreen Ivers on 30, Neil Keskin and Dave Byrne on 25. Well, the Bullies...
It's a sad tale.
Even with the Bullies, not one of them got to their handicap. Top scorer for them, Jen Edmondson, 34. Took note of her pillaging last week, but 34 for Jen. Shawnee Rodwell, ever consistent, 33. Cuz Stevens, 32. Cooper McMurrich, Johnny Wooten and Richie West, 31. So all players over 30, and they got it done over the, I shouldn't say depleted Goblins, because they had all their players. They're just poor.
Good effort by Jen, because she was tracking towards Rickometer potential, but shows you what a good room can do.
Good room. She had lots of good rooms. But the Bullies were in control straight away, and to show you how strong the Bullies started, Max Edmondson at 10:14 a.m. I sent you a text that he'd already called it, that the match was over. I think the first groups had actually only played around probably 12 or 13 holes, but you could see the writing on the wall with the scores early on. But yeah, and he was right. It was.
So he stuck a fork in at 10:14.
Yep.
Called the Goblins off for the day.
And I think it was probably at the time when we were just checking some on-course live scores, and like Ryan Reynolds at that stage had only had 9 points after 10 holes.
Wow.
Was seen using a pink golf ball. When questioned about the tactic, his playing partners replied, well, he's lost all 6 of his golf balls already, and it was the only one left, and the only one that they could actually see from where he was hitting it. But the Bullies were strong early with Jen, Cuz, Johnny and Wootsy with 31, but the Bullies only having 32 as the top score and 25 being a count and score is never going to get it done. Not much else to say in this one. If we go to the under 25 scores, honourable mention to Stu Anderson. He's solid player.
Yeah.
He only had 25, and he got stuck in the Yarny triangle.
Oh, the Pentagon.
But this triangle now goes from holes 17 to 8.
Oh my God, yes.
So in that space of holes, 9 holes, Stewart had 9 points.
Oh, Stu.
Better than that, Stewie. Rob Casey, miserable 18.
Oh, Rob.
Rob sort of came in before golf and said, I need to put something in for my team, and then you put that in, Rob. Very disappointing for you. Goblins, a counted score of 25. So the rest of the team must have been shithouse after that. Seeing 7 players under 25. Let's see if we can shame them to get some performance out. A bit of Ross Lyon maybe, Hazy, to get this going.
We want them to score.
Yeah, well, they're actually playing like St Kilda at the moment. Justin McGrath, the big, strong pennant manager, captain.
Spiritual leader.
24 points
Oh.
with a birdie on the last hole.
He birdied to get to 24. Wow.
Sean Boland, 23. Obviously your son's better than you, Sean. Tickle My Doodah drove the ball really, really well and had 22 points.
I tell you what, Mr. Wilson, you're tracking for the Rickometer. You are a dead set contender right now.
Ryan Reynolds, 21. Severe disappointment, but he did rally.
With his pink ball.
Had 15 on the back 9. Finished with 21, but still poor. Shirley Bell, 17.
She's been playing really well.
She had 17 on Saturday.
Shirley.
You had elevated yourself out of the piss poor team, but maybe you've just sunk back into that that team. But 17 wasn't the worst score for their team, Mark.
You're kidding.
No. This player was very consistent. 7 on the first 9 he played. 8 on the second 9 he played.
15.
15 points. Triangle. White, white, white. Had 9 wipes for the day.
Who are we talking
One
about? Here?
3-pointer. He did par the 5th hole. Good on you. 3-time PPP player, Rick Edmondson.
Oh, no. No.
Yep.
Just when we thought it was safe to declare him, on holy ground, like he was away from it.
No.
He's back.
He's back. He's the king.
7 and 8.
15 points.
Rico.
So Jen's got the bragging rights in the household over the weekend and this week by knocking off Max and Rico. But yeah, Rick was a bit disappointed.
And that
The horses he backed on Saturday performed the same way. So
And that included a 3-pointer.
3-pointer on the 5th. Yet a par.
Wow, I'm lost for words. I thought we'd sort of almost put a line through him as a.
So I'm not sure who Rick was rooming with while he was away, but obviously it wasn't Jen.
Oh no. Which brings us to our 4th and final game for review, Matty. And this was, by any stretch, an epic between the Tornadoes and the Peakers.
Yes, 12 players for the Tornadoes, 10 for the Peakers, and we had our first draw for the season.
Amazing.
200 apiece.
Well played.
So yes, so these actually were the highest scoring match for the round and the highest scoring teams. We've had a draw. Now I have had one Peakers team member come into Jill this morning and he was nearly in tears that his team has had the top score, and he was looking at it, and Fiona, one player from the Tornadoes had the best score of the round.
Yeah.
And he's like, that'd be right, I miss out again, the Peakers miss out, we miss on a countback, we miss the balls. Well, Flanders, guess what? We're feeling generous. We're going to give balls to both the Tornadoes and the Peakers this week. There you go.
You're unbelievable, Flanders.
Sooks it up like anything. So Flanders, you can have a twin pack of Callaway golf balls. Just because we're feeling so generous towards you and we don't want you to have a breakdown.
Yeah.
But anyway,
things you do for people's sanity, Matty.
we do. It's all about giving and sharing. But the Peakers, Barry Doyle 38, the Flanders 35, David Milne 34, Murray Wiley 32, Lloyd Shepherd 31 hit the scoreboard,
Nice.
and Chrissy Dodds 30. While the Tornadoes had Norma Vogel on 30, Scotty Hopgood 31, which was a great effort. Stewie Madden 32, good score from you, particularly when you didn't make the ladies' tees on the 15th. We had Andrew Wooten 33, Warren Stevenson 34, but the star and the champ was Fiona Newman on 40.
Well played, Fiona.
Well done, Fiona. You win the Travis Matthew Polo for your efforts there. That was a fantastic effort. First draw of the season, ebb and flowed. Actually, Hazy, I might tickle my doodah a bit here.
Do I need to sort of stand aside?
Well, Fiona had to come out a golf lesson Friday.
Yeah.
And then comes out and has 40 points on the Saturday.
Oh,
Yeah,
you just put your hand up.
Yeah, she was using my name in profanities early on in the round, but she stuck with it and then come in with the 40, which was
So did
great.
she sort of praise you up at the end?
She did, yeah. She come in and praised me, so we'll see what happens. But yeah,
So she's on a bit of a roll. I mean, clearly got David covered.
yes. Well, David's actually booked in for a lesson this week, so I've got big things to live up to. But yes, she had been in great form. Like she won the ladies' match play, and I think she came in on Wednesday to book it because she was playing so poor. But she ended up winning the Wednesday ladies division. So I don't know what's wrong, whether it's a mental thing for her, but we work on a few things and. She obviously got some benefit there, so...
So
good
she
effort.
must have been the out-and-out hero of the day, was she?
Well, yeah, she would have been.
But, she's dragged a team up, to that pedestal. She didn't leave any out there.
Nah, well, that's where we're going to get to here is that Barry Doyle had his best round with 38 for the year, but let's see where it could have been won or lost for both teams. Okay. And we're going to use just the players whose scores counted here.
Okay.
So for the Peakers, Barry Doyle won the men's comp for the day, triangle, wipe 1, 2.
Ooh.
Flanders, sooking up because he didn't win. He had 1 and 1 on his last 2 holes he played, which would have been 8 and 9. Murray Wiley, putted ordinary, wiped the second and had 1 point on the 8th, his second last hole. Could have been anything there.
Yeah.
Tornadoes, Mr. Stevenson, 34, wiped the 17th. How about you worry more about your golf game instead of taking photos of your playing partner, Mr. Peacock, while he was crook and nearly dying on the tee bed. Ando.
No, I'm taking that back. You keep sending us in pants work.
Ando, 1 point on the last hole he played. Toot toot. Wiped 7, 1 point on 9. But he did birdie the 8 for 4 points to nearly snatch victory. Scotty Hopgood wiped 5 and 6. Fiona Newman,
40 points, she can't have put a foot wrong.
1 point on the 18th. May have cost your team outright victory. Norma Vogel, the triangle, 1-1-1. Then we have the under 25s, Peakers. Digger James, 22.
Oh no.
Injured as well, hurt himself, retaining wall, showed me all his gashes and scratches. But,
Wow.
And then the Tornadoes, James Finch, 22. And Yvette Pollock, 22.
Yvette Pollock.
Wins the foursomes yesterday with her husband, but can only muster 22 individually on Saturday. Very, very disappointing.
Is she riding on the back of the flea?
I think so. I won't go any further with that, Mark.
It's very disappointing, Matthew.
But yes, I wouldn't have, as I said to Dale when he left to go home on Saturday, gave him a crash helmet and wished him good luck.
Oh, I want to mention, you've seen, no doubt by now, a couple of these magnificent graphics that are rolling around here, and big thanks to D. Pollock for these.
Obviously,
it's a new innovation.
Obviously, has a lot of time on his hands.
They were awesome in the foursomes. They knew the club's new mixed foursomes champions on Sunday, so well played.
Good effort.
Big weekend for Dale, half a good weekend for Yvette.
Exactly. But yes, it was a great round on Saturday, some great results, and the ladder is starting to take a little bit of shape. Do we put a fork in 2 of them, Hazy, or not?
We're just about to, and we definitely will next week with one of them. We'll come to that in a second, but let's have a quick look at the ladder. There are 2 undefeated teams bowling along nicely out in front, Matty, but it's interesting to note the 4 column is very, very tight for the top 5, even 6 teams. So it's a matter of, luck of the draw in terms of who you'd come up against in some respects. But the Bullies and the Crusaders obviously staked a very strong claim for the finals already.
They have, yes.
So, but yes, maybe we should push on, and we'll focus a little later on at the bottom end of the table.
It is. It's going to be a great round this week with all matches really having an impact on the ladder.
Big chance for the Peakers here. They face the Bullies 5 versus 1. It's a big match, isn't it?
Can anyone take the Bullies down? That's the question. And I think the Peakers could stand up here and give them a real test. Bullies have been a model consistency, and they're actually the highest scoring team off through points through the first 3 rounds with 592. Peakers aren't far behind on 589, so they've been high scoring as well. So their only loss was to the Warriors in round 2, and even in that match they scored 195, so which has been a winning score recently. So I reckon they'd fancy their chances. The Bullies have had consistency with 9 players playing all 3 rounds so far.
Nice, that's solid.
And with the Bullies, they've had players, these are the players that have scored in every round. They've had a counted score. We've got Johnny Wooten, Richie West and Sean Rodwell. Of the 35 rounds that have been submitted, 20 have been over 30. And we use 30 as a bit of a reference for scoring. The Peakers have had 9 players play all 3 as well. Peakers to score in each round, Muzz Wiley, David Milne. And of the 32 rounds submitted, 19 have been over 30. So it's a fairly even contest. Players who haven't contributed a counting score yet for the Bullies.
This is where we like to focus.
Yeah, so haven't had a counted score recorded. 2023 All Portarlington member Judy Said.
Wow.
Rob Casey, Kevin Hudson and Bill Archer. While the Peakers haven't had a contribution from Marion Keskinen. She hasn't actually played a game yet, so they'll be hoping she makes the course on Saturday. And Soupy Collins. So he's only played 1 game. So it looks like the Peakers are probably a little bit more consistent across the board, where the Bullies have had a lot more of the same players doing the job. So if those guys don't turn up, they're going to rely on these ones who haven't put in. So
the Bullies have got more passengers than the Garn. That's intriguing.
It is interesting.
You mentioned before we started about the upcoming Survivor contest, which we'll do in the second half of the season from rounds 8 through to 14. But interestingly, the Bullies, on top of the ladder and cruising along undefeated, you told me that
Yes.
they'd be gone already.
So with the survivor concept that will start, as Mark said, in for the second half of the season, is that the team with the lowest score will be eliminated each week. So the lowest team score we have of the counted scores there. So the first 2 weeks we had the Goblins and the Hookers have the lowest score, so they were eliminated. And then this past Saturday, although the Hookers and the Goblins had low scores, they'd already been eliminated, so it then goes to the next lowest, and that was actually the Bullies on Saturday. So they would have been knocked out of the Survivor event. So it's important to obviously try and, even if you aren't a chance to make the normal finals, there is this, if you want to call it a repechage Survivor series, that you can actually still be a chance to win.
It's almost built for a Flanders, isn't it?
It is.
To hang on to something when
when they're down and out.
He's sooking up.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, down and out. All right, let's go to the next game. Another ladder shaping game in the top end of the table, Matty. It's the Tornadoes in 4th place against the Crusaders in 2nd.
Yes, you could probably argue match of the round. Tornadoes only last loss was round 2 against the Bullies. That was when they had their loss. They went down by 2 points but scored 193. The Tornadoes have had 8 players play all 3 rounds. Warren Stevenson and Toot Toot Madden have had their scores count each time. Crusaders have had 6 players play all 3. Reigning Drayton Bagman medalist O'Neill, he's the only one to have his score counted 3 times, so spread the load.
Nice.
Tornadoes have had 33 rounds submitted, 18 scores over 30. Crusaders, 31 rounds submitted, 17 scores over 30. Tornadoes, they haven't had anything from Biscuits, James Finch and all Portarlington team member Col Isbell, while the Crusaders have had nothing from Jan Cogger. She has only played 1 game, which was 21. Maybe she should have stayed in New Zealand a little longer, as she did pay Joy Francis to play for her. It cost her 100, but it was a counting score for the team. Now, players to watch: Crusaders, Dan Hopgood, Gibbsy, Finnemore. These are normally consistently high scorers, but they've all been a little bit down in their output, with 22, 21 and 26 last week from those guys. The Tornadoes have been solid in the low handicap area. It's the mid to highs that need to stand up a little bit. Biscuits, you've been deplorable, 21 and 27.
Do you think you've played any part in this by putting the pressure on him as a prospective Drayton
Well,
medalist?
I think I might have. You should maybe concentrate on his golf instead of wrestling people. I know you got your ass handed to you by Yarny the other day.
In wrestling as well as golf?
Yeah. Wardy, Sean Ward, 31, 28, 27. You're a Tornado for life, and you put that rubbish in. Vet Pollock, 23 and 22. I don't know what more I can say.
No, clearly needs to lift.
Shocking.
This is not foursomes Premier League, Vet.
No, like last year she was, at some stages, she was like 20 points after 7 holes.
Yeah, no.
Last year, but she is, maybe that handicap's got to a point and she's a little bit stagnant there. But,
Is the honeymoon over?
Oh, I think the honeymoon was over long ago.
Do you think? Oh, pretty. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah,
Could she be a Rick Hometer contender?
I reckon she is a fair, if she's in the low 20s again this week, I reckon there's a fair chance.
I think we're going to draw a line next week, so a lot of people on notice here.
Yeah, we've given you all enough time to try and find some form. We're into round 4 now, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting match. Could go anyway.
Nice. So the next match for decision is the Warriors, who probably been a little unlucky in terms of the opponents they've drawn so far. They've run into a couple of buzzsaws, and they're up against the Pirates, the suddenly informed Pirates. 3rd
versus 6th. As you say, it's an interesting matchup here. Although the Warriors are 6th on the ladder, they've been performing better than that. They had a 3-point loss, obviously, to the Crusaders last week, scoring 196. And remember, they were the highest scoring team in round 2, while the Pirates' only loss was in round 1 against the Bullies. But their 2 wins have only been against the Goblins and the Hookers.
Yeah.
So is the form strong enough? That'll be is it going to be strong enough to beat the Warriors? So for the Warriors, 8 players have played all 3 rounds. with Cam O'Keefe the only one to have all 3 score count. Margie Maskell and Josh Bowen have played 2 games and they've had those scores count both times they've played. So the Pirates have had 9 players play all 3 and only Mirrors Heaton has had all 3 count. Warriors have had 32 rounds submitted for 17 over 30. The Pirates have had 33 rounds submitted for 15 over 30.
15.
Warriors had no counted scores from Steve Bond, while the Pirates have had nothing from John Powell. This week, the Warriors need something from Stephen Bond. 20 and 16, Bondy. Julie Milne, you haven't reached 30 yet this season.
Wow.
Craig Connolly, Ray Lineker, you've been very inconsistent. Jacob Blennerhassett could be the surprise packet.
Yeah.
Seems to be trending the right way.
It does.
21 in round 1, 26 round 2, 30 last week. Can we see 36 or something this week from Jacob? Pirates have had a couple of quiet weeks from Manny Golfus, 25 and 20, Johnny Power, 26 and 25, Lee McMurrich, 27, 28, while Dennis Wood, hopefully the 24 on Saturday was a bit of a blip, or was he still fuming after Collingwood got beat Friday night?
Well, do you count that as a loss, do you? Because he'll get into you for factually shaming his Magpies.
Well, he wasn't happy. He was not happy when he came in.
No. 4 goals in the last few minutes. It's sort of like having 20, what did you say, 25 points?
24 he had.
24.
Probably the number of free kicks that Collingwood got that weren't there. But anyway, we'll go on to the next one, Hazy.
All right, now this in so many ways, Matty, this...
Match of the round?
Well, I know we talked about the Tornadoes and the Crusaders earlier as having that possibility of that mantle, but this one here, I'm prepared to call the season on the loser.
Imagine if they have a draw. And they still don't have a win after this.
That would be unthinkable.
But yeah, Hookers 7th, Goblins 8th, Battle of the Cellar Dwellers. Could go any way. Hookers have been shocking while the Goblins have been atrocious. Points scored so far. Hookers, 542 points. Goblins 543.
Do they miss around? Like the accounting just seems so out of whack.
Just so down. Hookers have had 6 players play all 3 rounds. Not one has had their score count in all 3. Jill Barker, Neil Ryan, Malesy and Matt Davies have played 2 and their scores have counted both times, but no one's had the 3. For the Goblins, we've had 7 players play all 3 rounds. Only Max Edmondson has had his score counted all 3 times. The Hookers have both teams have had 30 rounds played. The Hookers have had 9 scores over 30. Only 9, where the others have been getting near the 20. And the Goblins have had 11 over 30.
Wow.
Can we single out any player for improvement from these teams? Not really, because they all need to improve and improve significantly. For the Hookers, Jeff Evans, Goblin, Ryan Reynolds, you haven't had a contributing score as yet.
It's going to be hard for him if he doesn't live to come in here and,
And then hang shit onto someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really need to lift, Sheik.
Yeah, Sheik is doing no goods. But yeah, they were both extremely disappointing. They'd be hoping the extra motivation of having a win might lift them, but I'm not so sure on that, Hazy. If these teams had met in the first 3 rounds, the Goblins would have won 2 and the Hookers would have won 1.
Your stats are next level.
Both teams have so much scope for improvement. For the Goblins, Justin McGrath's been averaging 27, Tickle and Rhino 25, Dave Byrne 26, Sean Boland 25, Bell and Ivers 24, Rico 22. And then for the Hookers, Jeff Evans is only averaging 26, Richie Howes 25, Kenny Latta 24, Pete Vogel 26, and Helen Powell and Andrew Royal 26. So as you can see, the average is really low for these, so there's lots of scope here.
Pete Vogel 26. Geez, he talks a lot for 26.
Yeah, he does. Just bought some new golf balls just before in the shop, so maybe he's ran out. That's why.
Well, I don't want to say too much about this match, Matty, but look.
Oh, you going the wooden spoon?
No, the loser of this match has put a massive down payment on this sucker. That's unbelievable to say in round 4, but they are so far trailed off. It's already a game and a half and a huge percentage out of the 8, out of the 4. Spoon looming. Thoughts? Who's going to win?
I'm going to go. Well, I don't reckon there'll be Jill Barker this week. She got rotator cuff injury, and she's been one of their stalwarts, so she may need to try and find a replacement. But I think with her out, I think I'm going to go the Gobbies. Little gobble, gobble, gobble.
I don't know. I just can't have any faith in some of the players rolling around at the Goblins at the moment. I think Ian Burrell's been just doing his best to get to 30 points and not worrying about getting to 36. He's totally taken his eye off the ball.
Yeah, it's you look through the teams, and there's like, I think the Goblins will get Steve Evans back. So he's come back from Vietnam and fishing in Darwin, I think it was. So he'll be back. So he might breathe some new life into the team. So,
I'm going to stick with the hookers. I'm sorry, Goblins, but I think the hookers can avoid this, but the Goblins staring straight down the barrel. Unbelievable. Round 4, we had to pay extra money to get this out early, out of storage. Extraordinary. Well, that's it, mate. I do want to mention a few little things here. First of all, Steve King.
Oh, yes,
Tom
Kingy.
King.
Yes.
We're going to go with here. He's our man on K-Rock. For those who don't know, Kingy does all the footy commentary on K-Rock. A member here, passionate player at the Portarlington Golf Club. Going down the MND slide at St Joseph's this weekend coming.
Oh, geez, it's going to be cold on Saturday too, is it?
Oh,
Geez, I hope it is.
There's so many things I could say about Kingy and cold weather. I'm just going to steer very clear of
What
that
outfits are
one.
you going? Is it going to be a revealing?
No, I'm reliably informed that Mankinis are off the table.
Right.
So that's probably a source of great relief to those at St Joseph's.
That'd be good to see him in that, I reckon. We might get you in the Mankini one time on this video, Hazy.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see how that goes. So yes, we'll have something during the week on the social channels or on the club website about how to support Kingy going down the slide. Obviously not supporting Kingy as the MND is the main goal here. So keep that in mind. Obviously a great little thing. Speaking of raising money, I did have Ian Francis sort of chirp me on Sunday. He was up and about his, what would you have, 36 again?
36, yeah.
He's had some good scores. He thinks he's...
Couldn't do it when he was part of Premier League.
Well, there is that. But he wants to let people know that he's the most highly sought fill-in player at the moment,
Right.
given his form. So we'll keep tabs on this, how this is going through the year, I think.
Yep, we will.
What do you think?
Yes, I think it's worthwhile. Now, just a reminder, if anyone does need a fill-in, try and get that to me by Tuesday at the latest, just so we can inform the Premier League admin team so they can make those changes. Now, we do have a period coming up over the long weekend in June where I believe there's probably potential of a lot of people needing a fill-in, but unfortunately you're going to be away.
Yeah, sorry.
So you're unavailable, and a few of our fill-in players are unavailable as well. So that week we might have a couple of depleted teams, which in theory doesn't really matter because we only take the top 6 scores out of your team. But yes, the long weekend may be a bit of an issue in trying to get some fill-in players for particular people. So we'll try our best, but yeah, at the moment, that weekend's looking a little bit difficult from that side of it.
No worries. Well, let's head into round 4 with a fresh hope that the Hookers and the Goldens can steer clear of this. Some big action at the top end of the table. Matty, thank you for your contributions.
Thank you, Hazy. You okay? I noticed you've got a little injection on your arm there. Is everything okay?
Yeah,
Don't need to tell us anything. You're okay?
I'm okay. I'm all good.
Need some ice on that?
No, I'll probably pull through. Okay. Yes, good luck to everyone this weekend. Thank you very much to Neville Richards, the powerhouse of the Premier League here, and of course to Callaway. Should mention the Fiona Newman picks up not only the shirt from Travis Matthew, but also I can see her swanning around in the Great Northern.
Oh yes,
cap
loves
too.
a frothy, does Fiona.
We'll have that in the pro shop too for you, Fiona. So come along and pick them up. And the teams, of course, the teams who had the draw, Matty, which was the Tornadoes and the Peakers, come and pick up your twin pack of Callaway pills anytime from now on in the pro shop.
Yep. No worries. Thank you, Hazy. Thanks for your
Matty.
efforts.
We'll chat to you again soon.
See you guys.